Namaskar, I am Dr. Maulik Shah, MD Pediatrics, Vatsalya Super Specialty Child's Clinic, Malad, Mumbai. Today we are going to discuss three important things. One, how to protect our child from the current curse of this pandemic of COVID-19. Second, what if any of the family member have turned positive and the child is staying nearby? And third thing, what if our child comes positive, then what to do? Coming to it one by one. First, how to prevent or how to protect our child from the current curse of pandemic. First of all, do not panic. See that the child is wearing mask whenever the child is going out. Of course, it becomes quite tricky with a small kids like less than 1 year, but for them there is no need of taking them out. If we are taking them out, see that we are taking them out in a time when there are less number of people around. Rest of the kids do comply wearing the mask. So whenever they are going out, they should wear a mask. While they are out, if at all someone is talking to you, see that there is a good amount of distance maintained, and whosoever you are talking to, that person should wear the mask properly above the nose. So mouth and nose, both areas should be covered. This is very important point. From the other point of the food and immunity part, the child should consume good quantity of fruits as well as good quantity of water. I have made multiple videos regarding this about the adequate water intake and fruit intake. Vatsalya Child's Clinic channel, you will get the videos. So good quantity of fruit intake, good quantity of water intake and healthy diet. I would recommend everyone to avoid non-vegetarian food because this is anyways a zoonotic disease. The disease has come from animals to the man. Better to avoid non-vegetarian food at least during this current pandemic is going on. Coming to the second scenario, what if some family member has come positive and the child is nearby? At home, it is preferable that the person who has turned positive should maintain a social distance in a form of quarantine himself in one particular room. The person should not come out. The person should be served food or whatever in the room itself. Preferably that room should have attached washroom so that the person doesn't need to come out for any particular reason. Child do not go to in a close contact to that person, that is more than enough, and take all the precautions what we discussed in scenario 1, that is more than enough. To add a specific scenario and a special one, if a mother is turned positive and the baby is breastfeeding, this is a situation where we cannot avoid the personal contact to the case. So here what we recommend is that mother wear the mask proper, if possible N95, otherwise at least one surgical mask snugly fit over the nose as well as mouth, covered well, and while handling baby the mother should use proper sanitization. If these all things are being maintained well, no need to worry, the baby can feed well, no problem. If possible, baby should be immediately separated, but if not, baby can room in with a mother, with mother taking care of proper sanitization and wearing mask well. Coming to the third scenario, that is if the child themselves come positive. Here you should take your pediatrician in the loop. The pediatrician should be consulted at least telephonically, if not personally. What all are the symptoms that need to be taken care of well with a symptomatic treatment? You keep on checking pulse oximetry as far as possible at home and keep updated each and everything whatever happens to your pediatrician. I would like to brief how to treat the basic symptoms. So if the child is having fever, just keep on giving paracetamol as and when required as per the dose prescribed by your pediatrician. You can give 3 to 4 times in a day, but avoid unnecessary doses of paracetamol also. In case the situation is so tricky that even after giving paracetamol the fever is not settling down within an hour or repeating within 2-3 hours, then you can use another antipyretic, maybe mefenamic acid or ibuprofen, though I would personally do not recommend ibuprofen or diclofenac or ibugesic plus. I would not recommend all these things. Max to max one can use mefenamic acid. The dose would be as per the weight, so you can inquire to your pediatrician. Second part, runny nose, cough. For that runny nose, simple saline nasal drops is enough. About the cough, as per your pediatrician's advice, you can give cough syrup, but that would be purely after recommendation. You are not going to use over the counter cough syrups because there might be some problem which the child might have to handle if unrequired cough medicine goes. There are a lot of other symptoms also present with the COVID-19. So many of the times the child present with a loose motions or even vomiting, headache, body ache, myalgia. So body ache and headache and everything can be also settled by paracetamol itself. So Crocin or Calpol or Macfast, whichever paracetamol you are using, you can use for the body ache and headache also. Vomiting, specifically ondansetron can be used. The dose again your pediatrician would let you know. In case of loose motions, you can use probiotic and ORS. So basically what I am highlighting is each and every symptom can be treated with a symptomatic treatment itself rather than going for any specific antibiotics or antiviral. So now the question comes, what if something goes wrong? So I would elaborate some symptoms which if present you have to contact your pediatrician immediately. So first very important point, very high grade fever and repeated high grade fever spikes. So 102, 103 we would consider as a high grade fever spike. So repeatedly if the child is having 102, 103 fever spike, the paracetamol helping to reduce the fever, but once again when it shoots each and every time it is going beyond 102, 103. So that is high grade fever, first thing. Second, if the child is showing any worsening of the symptoms, so other than fever, if the child was having cough, now the cough has aggravated, runny nose has got aggravated, or the child is having thick discharge, the child is having earache or ear discharge, or else the loose motions or vomiting, whichever are getting aggravated. Third thing, if any of the new symptoms are appearing, say for example the child was having cough cold, but now the child started also having loose motions and vomiting also, or vice versa. So any new symptoms appearing, the child was just having fever, but now severe body ache and headache has also started. So these all are additional new symptoms which are appearing. So three things we have discussed: high grade fever, worsening of the symptoms, or any new symptoms appearing. The fourth thing is breathing difficulty. So I would just demonstrate, just observe when you consider it as a breathing difficulty. So here this is the chest bone, and above the chest bone there is a retraction like this. So you can see this muscles getting taut, and here there is a retraction. Similar kind of retractions if it is happening within the rib cages. Or the another one important point is if there is a retraction in between the chest part and abdomen part. So it is like this kind of breathing. So these all are breathing difficulty. So four important signs: first, high grade fever, repeated high grade fever; second, worsening of the existing symptoms; third, appearance of new symptoms; and fourth, breathing difficulty. Another set of 4 symptoms which, if present when the child is not having fever, those are the oral intake going down by more than 50% of the regular one when the child is not having fever. Second is when the child is not having fever but the child is too dull, very drowsy, not active when the child is not having fever. When the child is not having fever, still the child is too irritable or cranky, most of the times crying or very much irritable, cranky. That is the third point. And fourth point is when the child is not having fever but the child is having rapid breathing. Now rapid breathing is a bit tricky, it depends age to age. So if we consider the 0 to 6 months, 60 times per minute, 6 months to 1 year, 50 times per minute, 1 year to 2 years, 40 times per minute, 2 years to 5 years, 30 times per minute, and beyond 5 years, 20 times per minute, we would consider as a normal for this purpose. Beyond the breathing, beyond this frequency should be reported to the pediatrician. I would repeat once again, 0 to 6 months, 60 times per minute, 6 months to 1 year, 50 times per minute, 50, 1 year to 2 years, 40 times per minute, 2 years to 5 years, 30 times per minute, and more than 5 years, 20 times per minute. If the breathing goes beyond this frequency, this has to be considered abnormal. So just briefing 8 important things once again. First, very high grade fever beyond 102, 103. Second, worsening of symptoms. Third, appearance of new symptoms. And fourth, breathing difficulty. Next 4 symptoms when there is no fever. So oral intake going down below 50% of the regular, child becoming too irritable, child becoming too drowsy, and child having rapid breathing. In any of these 8 scenarios, you should update your pediatrician immediately so that he can take the further steps. I am available for online consultation, so I'll just have the touch points in the description box. You can get me on the touch, or else you can contact your pediatrician, regular pediatrician, as and when required. Symptomatic treatment will continue. If your pediatrician feels like the child needs any antibiotic, the pediatrician himself will advise you. Till then, no antibiotic should be used on your own on prophylactic basis. So I hope the things are very clear. Do not panic, just relax. As we are fighting with this pandemic, we will come out of it. Just stay safe at home and protect yourself and your child from getting infected. For that, manage SMS very well. Sanitization, mask and social distancing. For today, this much. Thank you. Namaskar.